the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Are Marion County's restrictions on bars and clubs illegal? Good evening, I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Tonight, the county and the city of Indianapolis are facing a lawsuit from the owners of more than a dozen businesses. The suit claims that the public health order for bars and clubs meant to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 violates the owners' constitutional rights of equal protection under the law by singling out their businesses. Under the latest county order, live entertainment and dancing are not allowed at bars, clubs, or restaurants. All three must also close at midnight. But capacity at bars and clubs is more restricted than at restaurants. And bars and clubs had to shut down completely for about 6 weeks over the summer. Ryan Greb, the owner of Taps and Dolls and several other clubs, is part of the suit.
There's not an end in sight, and they don't have an answer for us. Mayor Hogsett wants to keep setting down these rules for us. We keep implementing them, but they seem getting more stringent as we go. Read some news articles today that 41% of Indianapolis bars and restaurants won't be around after this pandemic, maybe 4 to 6 months from now. And that's very unfortunate because there's a lot of small businesses that deserve to still be here. And if the city would help us find a way, then maybe we could have these cutback measures. But for now, you're making us survival of the fittest out here.
The plaintiffs are asking that the court find the orders unlawful. In a response, the spokesperson for the mayor's office told WRTV the city does not comment on pending litigation. However, he added, quote, Mayor Hogsett fully supports the Marion County Public Health Department's leadership and ongoing health orders, which have slowed the spread of the virus in our city and continue to save lives, end quote.
You may have seen smoke billowing for miles from this big fire on the near west side of Indianapolis. This was the scene around 8 o'clock this evening at Turner Avenue and Tremont Street. Firefighters say plastic pallets outside of a storage facility caught on fire. It took crews about 15 minutes to get it under control. No one was hurt. With 6 weeks to go until the general election, there's a nationwide push to get Americans registered to vote. Indiana's voter registration deadline is October 5th. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker went to check out one of several events getting people signed up to vote across Indianapolis.
Music filled the air at the Hi-Fi Annex Tuesday evening. Everyone out in support of Go Vote Indy's big registration event.
It's your civic duty to vote.
That's Tristan Chaplin. He and his wife Megan came to this event specifically so he could get registered to vote because for him, it's a pretty special day.
Today is my first day as an American citizen. So I thought it was important to come down and get registered as soon as possible.
The organizers behind Go Vote Indy have helped around 1,000 people register to vote since starting these efforts over the summer. I talked to them last week about their passion for making sure anyone who's eligible to vote has access and the resources to do so.
Everybody's working and voting together. That has a lot of power, and that has a lot of power to make huge change happen. And so when you say, or when you hear, your voice matters, your vote matters, it's absolutely 100% true.
No matter who you would vote for during this election, that everyone should have the same opportunities, equal opportunities to be able to cast their ballot on Election Day.
Back at the event, Go Vote Indy was joined by several other organizations like the League of Women Voters, all of them eager to help people exercise their right to vote. Tristan, just a few hours into being a citizen, puts it quite plainly as to why it's important to vote.
And it's just your way of giving, not so much your opinion, but having your say on what happens.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
More voter registration efforts will be held ahead of the October 5th deadline. Ivy Tech will host a drive-through event at the campus on Fall Creek Parkway from 9 to 6 on October 2nd. That's next Friday. You can register to vote, update your existing registration, check your registration status, or request an absentee ballot.
The deadline to request an absentee ballot to vote by mail in Indiana is in 1 month, October 22nd. The Marion County Election Board says it has sent out 50,000 ballots. But if you got one already, take a close look because a portion of those were impacted with a clerical error. The Election Board is asking voters to make sure the precinct listed on their ballot and ballot envelope are accurate. And on the back of your ballot, make sure there are 2 sets of signed election clerk initials. If those initials are missing or the precinct information is incorrect, you cannot use that ballot to vote. Call the Marion County Election Board to get a new ballot. That number is 317-327-5100. For everything you need to know ahead of the general election, go to Vote in 2020 digital section of our website at WRTV.com.
For more than a year, WRTV Investigates has been following controversy within the Northwest Hendricks School Corporation. School leaders have faced criticism for how they handled sexual misconduct allegations involving a teacher and a student. 3 candidates are challenging 2 incumbents for 2 open school board seats in Northwest Hendricks. The challengers are David Pyatt, Abby Morgan, and Joe Brooks. The incumbents, Jim Diagostino and Craig Peoples, have been criticized for removing public comment from board meetings and not taking swifter action involving misconduct involving Tri-West employees. All 3 challengers say they want to make changes and improve transparency and communication between the board and the community. WRTV will talk to Brooks, Morgan, and Pyatt live on the WRTV Facebook page and the WRTV app tomorrow at 5 p.m. The incumbents have not agreed to join us.
Now to the forecast. The first day of fall is winding down and the new season is off to a warm start. Here's Kevin.
And Mark, will turn it up just a little bit tomorrow. Temperatures will be closer to 80, but I think fall short. We'll see a mixture of clouds and sunshine. We had a lot of mid-level clouds, even some smoke today, kind of giving that haze across the sky. That wind will be light. Out of the southwest, there are your temperatures, upper 70s during the afternoon hours, the mixture of clouds and sunshine. Just want to point out what will happen as we get to next week, a little pattern change as some cooler air will filter in. We'll talk about what I mean by cooler and look at our next best opportunity for rain as well. That's all still ahead. Mark?
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. As National Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month continues, a Johnson County wrestling team is raising money to honor a reserve deputy who died by suicide. WRTV reporter Cameron Riddle shows us how you can help and what is being done to end the stigma surrounding suicide.
Former Johnson County Reserve Deputy Ramona Jackson is remembered for the love she had for serving her community. Jackson died by suicide in 2019, and now the Franklin Wrestling Club is working to make sure her legacy is about more than the way she died, while also addressing the issue of suicide.
It's even tough for me to say with the stigma, and that's what we're trying to get over here. We want this awareness. We want people to know. We want people to help.
Coach Jim Tante and his team of wrestlers will donate 25% of the proceeds from a golf ball drop this weekend to add Deputy Jackson's name to a first-of-its-kind memorial being built in Texas, which will honor police officers who died by suicide. Tante says the issue of mental health is something that needs to be tackled head-on. It's a conversation he has had with his wrestlers.
We even talked a little bit about how some kids at the high school level get bullied and even pushes kids in that area, to think and contemplate some of the things that we're discussing.
The monument is being built by the organization called Blue Help, which honors the service of officers who died by suicide and offers comfort to their families. According to Blue Help, 125 officers have ended their own life this year. Kelly Lowe is the president of the National Police Wives Association. She says officers who die by suicide are not recognized the same as an officer killed in the line of duty. And it's important to recognize that the people who answer the call for help sometimes need help too.
She went out there as a volunteer, protected and served her community, lost her life to a challenge, but we as a community appreciate that service, and we can recognize that that's okay. Let us help this department grieve. Let us help, as a community, this family, understand that we appreciated what she was, who she was, and what she did for us as a community.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
The golf ball drop to raise money to add Jackson's name to the memorial will take place on Sunday, September 27th at Takima Woods Golf Course in Trafalgar. You can learn more at our website at WRTV.com.
Tonight, we are remembering a little boy who lost his life to domestic violence. Every year, church members and the community gather to honor the memory of Jeremiah Williams, who was shot and killed by his mother's ex-boyfriend. Because of COVID, the annual Domestic Violence Awareness Walk is taking on a different form this year. Jeremiah's family is encouraging people to walk in their own neighborhoods. Together, they hope to walk 10,000 miles collectively and raise awareness about what domestic violence looks like and let people know help is available.
We want to bring awareness to the world to let them know that you don't have to settle for it. You don't have to settle for a situation. There are people that are concerned, that are willing to help. There are places that you can go for help.
The walk will be held this Saturday, September 26th. Visit 3mbc.org to register.
I was upset at first. I was like, how can they just take my picture like that?
This photo has been shared hundreds of thousands of times on social media, but captions explaining the story behind the powerful picture are lies. Coming up, hear the real story and how the viral disinformation impacted this family.
The Notre Dame football program is hitting pause after several positive COVID tests. What that means for Saturday's game against Wake Forest.
And the Centers for Disease Control is issuing Halloween guidance, what the health agency says you should not do this year. The Notre Dame football team will not take the field this Saturday. Today, the athletic department announced that 7 players tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. That, combined with testing last week, means 13 total players are in isolation. Officials are now in the process of rescheduling this weekend's game against Wake Forest, and all Notre Dame football-related activities are on hold until further testing is completed.
COVID-19 is now blamed for more than 200,000 deaths across the United States, and cases are rising again in nearly 36 states and territories. ABC's Romina Puga has the latest on the ongoing fight against the virus and misinformation.
President Trump said little to mark today's horrific milestone of 200,000 Americans killed by the coronavirus.
Well, I think it's a shame. I think if we didn't do it properly and do it right, you'd have 2.5 million deaths.
The U.S. has 4% of the world's population and 20% of the world's COVID-related deaths. Tuesday, the American Medical, Hospital, and Nurses Association issuing a joint statement saying COVID-19 is affecting Americans at a rate that represents a nearly worst-case scenario. With the number of cases increasing in 33 states and Puerto Rico, the president speaking as if the pandemic is a thing of the past. During his Ohio rally Monday night, he said, incorrectly, that the virus only really affects older Americans with pre-existing conditions.
Well, elderly people with heart problems and other problems. If they have other problems, that's what it really affects. That's it.
And he added, also incorrectly, that young people are basically immune. Dr. Fauci saying Tuesday that's just not true.
Is the elderly and people at any age with underlying conditions. Right. Underlining any age.
Each number added to that death toll an American life, a family forever changed. 4 out of those 200,000 counted are from the Beltran family, who got sick with COVID after a get-together at a home in Phoenix. Father, mother, and 2 sons dying.
We did everything together. It's hard. More than half of my family is gone.
Joe Biden saying today it didn't have to be this bad.
It means there are empty chairs and dining room tables and kitchen tables that weeks and months ago were filled with a loved one, a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister.
And at a rally in Pennsylvania Tuesday night, thousands of the president's supporters packing the venue, most not wearing masks. All attendees required to sign a disclaimer that they voluntarily assume all risks related to exposure of COVID-19.
And with fall stoking worries of a second wave combined with flu season, health officials are pleading with Americans to wear their masks and avoid crowds. In Los Angeles, Romina Puga, ABC News.
The Centers for Disease Control is now weighing in on how to safely celebrate Halloween as the pandemic continues. The CDC recommends avoiding trick-or-treating, indoor costume parties, and indoor haunted houses. And do not replace your face mask with a costume mask. The agency says those are all high risk. Several health experts, including Indiana's health commissioner, have said recently that they believe those kinds of activities may be able to go on safely depending on the circumstances in each community, but that it's too early to give specific guidance. Those comments were made before the CDC issued recommendations.
New at 11, the creative arts community continues to find new ways to bring their craft to you. The Indianapolis Symphony Choir hosted this free community sing-along in the parking lot of the Basile Opera Center on the north side. The socially distanced event included classic and patriotic tunes. Audience members were encouraged to join in, even if they were a little off-key.
That's one of the things that being in a choir like this is so great for. We might feel individually a little intimidated by trying to take on some of these great pieces that were composed hundreds of years ago. But with a group of 50 or 100 singers around us all singing along, it just kind of picks us up and we join in on the fun.
As you can see, it was a beautiful night for this outdoor event. There are some sweatshirts and sweaters, but some short sleeves too. Kevin, what should we be breaking out for this weekend?
This weekend, you can have short sleeves, shorts, and then we'll get to some sweater weather early next week. How about that? Okay, the story is the lack of rainfall over the last 35 days, as you know, just 0.04 of an inch. We're unlikely to change that in any big way. Earlier in the week, last weekend, we were watching tropical system thing, and that could have some impact on Indiana. It will in the sense that it brings more cloud cover, could be a stray shower in the southern portion of the state, but really not looking for any beneficial rain in the Hoosier state as the system stays mainly to the south. I'll put this in motion. We're picking this up Thursday. You can see the rain, the heaviest down in Tennessee, slipping through eastern Kentucky and not impacting the Hoosier state. When will we most likely see some additional rain? Saturday night and Sunday appear to be the next best opportunities for showers and thunderstorms. Even then, I don't think it'd be all that widespread. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, dry. As we get to Saturday night, late, you can see the cold front showing showers, thunderstorms, Fort Wayne to Champaign, but as they drop south and east, it really thins out. Then during the day on Sunday, isolated thunderstorms possible. The cooler northwest flow will keep some opportunities for showers in the forecast, including Monday and Tuesday of next week. Tomorrow, though, we'll make a push to 90 degrees with a mixture of clouds and sunshine, hazy sunshine, almost 80 as we get to Thursday. And then on Friday, should touch 80 for the high. The humidity very low, but as we get to the weekend, it comes up a bit. We see the little surge in temperatures, better chance for some showers and thunder showers ahead of the cold front. Then it will knock these temperatures, which are running about 3 or 4 degrees above average tomorrow, and put those into, it looks like the 60s for highs as we go along. There's your hourly Thursday forecast. 7-day planner, temperatures will be in the 50s during the next several mornings instead of the 40s. That chance for showers, thunderstorms starts Saturday night. We'll continue a chance for rain Sunday and Monday. But notice how Monday 73, the high temperature on Tuesday in the 60s for highs, even beyond the 7-day forecast going this way. Temperatures remain below average for much of next week.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Work on this half-constructed hotel right across from Indianapolis Motor Speedway is expected to resume in the spring. WRTV has been following the progress, or rather lack thereof, on the project for more than a year. Construction stopped abruptly last summer. Town leaders say that the developer, Loftus Robinson, had financing issues. Today we learned of a new partnership between that developer and the Indianapolis-based company MHG Hotels. Will get the project started again. The owner of Dawson's on Main is excited about the news.
We've done so much work up and down Main Street, and that's kind of the first thing you see, and it's kind of been an eyesore. So we're excited I think it'll be big, you know, bringing a lot of people from outside the area. That's what hotels are for, and we're excited to have them.
Loftus Robinson released a statement saying they are excited to have MHG Hotels added as a co-developer and partner on this project.
Hiring Hoosiers is WRTV's commitment to connecting you to job opportunities. Best Buy is adding staff ahead of the holiday shopping season. Each store across the country will host job fairs from noon to 7 this Thursday and Friday. You could be interviewed and hired on the spot. Positions in a variety of departments are available. And the U.S. Postal Service is holding a drive-through job fair on Saturday. It goes from 10 to 1 at the district office on Vincennes Road near 86th and Michigan on the northwest side of Indianapolis. For more info about job opportunities across central Indiana, go to hiringhoosiers.com. We'll be right back.
When you think of misinformation, you may think about falsehoods related to politicians or social issues, but that's often not the case. Scripps reporter Alexa Liaco explains how a family lost control of a personal photo.
It's a moment of pain and perseverance.
My son's head was out and he was losing oxygen, like he was slipping away.
L'Oreal Forte had her second child at home last year. The delivery was an intense experience.
They had to, put an oxygen mask on me so that way he wouldn't stop breathing.
All the emotions captured through the lens of Elaine Baca's camera.
She caught that moment of near death, but life at the same time. Like, that's a delicate balance.
The family planned to frame some of the birth photos for their home, but this photo ended up on L'Oreal's Facebook wall instead, posted by someone else.
I was upset at first. I was like, how can I just take my picture like that?
The photo was shared on countless Facebook accounts and websites with a false caption, each post manipulating the story with slightly different details.
One page had more than 200,000 shares on that one image. Like, the specific one said, my wife is suffering from coronavirus and she's pregnant. The doctors say she won't survive and the baby is going to have COVID too. Please pray and like and share.
It blew my mind that it went from being just an innocent birth moment, a powerful, moment depicting birth, to, a representation of COVID.
Posts claimed Forte's baby had died. Others posed as her husband, saying he'd lost his wife, and now their baby is sick. But the truth?
I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat.
The photo was taken a year before the pandemic started, and Forte's son is now almost 2 years old.
It has been used, in ways of trying to get people to give money or trying to get people to look at something this way. And so at this point, if I could stop it, I would, because I know that's not the truth.
And a true birth story is all Baca wanted. She documented Forte's experience for a portrait series of African-American women giving birth because
they are underrepresented in birth stories. Like, Black women don't see themselves represented often. So we were trying to show the beauty and the power of birth for these families. It was just really frustrating because it went against everything that we were trying to do.
Even after trying to have the photos taken down, Forte and her husband's faces are still being shared incorrectly on the internet today.
It definitely stripped the power that I felt I had in that moment. It's like, okay, I might have power in giving life, but when it comes to a keyboard or Instagram or Facebook, I'm powerless.
Both women agree the power lies with the public. A simple second to check the source of an image before you hit share could stop one more fake story in its digital tracks.
Say mommy, daddy.
And give this mom more time to spend with her growing family. I'm Alexa Liaco.
And no surprise here, we stayed dry. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, temperatures each day around 80. Next best chance of rain, that arrives on Saturday night. Amanda?
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Good night.